Saturday, but it does change. They're different kind of guys, and they've done different things. Now, I know Coach Canada has been established in his offensive system for a long time, so it's a little bit tricky. Not sure what they're going to do. We need to be ready for everything they've done, and they've had some really fantastic output offensively at times. So, big challenge.
Would you agree that your linebackers have played much better the last couple weeks, especially last week? And if so, what's brought that on?
Well, I'm maybe in the minority. I think the linebackers have had a steady progress this year. The last two games before this one, we didn't tackle well at the position, which was not what it was like the rest of the season. I thought we tackled. I don't think we had 20. All season we had single digits, and then Purdue we had 20 missed tackles, and then Nebraska we had 15, which is just couldn't explain it. And then Michigan State we had 3. So that's where we belong, in the single digits, and it's amazing when we do that, when we tackle well, how things go better.
Is part of the explanation just like slippery dudes you're trying to tackle? How much is it? Do you feel like that no matter the opposition you're facing, your tackling fundamentals should stay the same, or sometimes do you acknowledge some teams have guys who are hard to tackle?
Well, I acknowledge guys have. There's no doubt I acknowledge that, but I think sometimes it's. Michigan State has good players too. It's just I think sometimes. What the heck?
I thought it was Urban.
No, love you too, baby.
Slippery players.
Slippery players. I used to get my ear grabbed, but it definitely has a factor on who you tackle. There's no doubt. I just think that we kind of bear down on it a little bit as a unit, and we need to do that again this week. This week they're going to put us in positions where we have to make tackles in space, and that's the challenge. They do an incredible amount of trading, shifting, motioning, and then they hand the ball to speed sweep guys that are going laterally. So there's going to be times when we're in open space and we're going to have to make one-on-one tackles.
How much of a difference has Brendan White made?
Excuse me?
How much of a difference has Brendan White made?
Brendan's played really well. He is a good example of working really hard and improving and being prepared when you get a chance. And when he got his chance, he cashed in on it, and then he did well again last week. So we're very encouraged there. I think he's got a bright future.
Is it coincidence of him stepping up, and then the defense seems to have been tightening the last week and a half? Is that just coincidence?
No, I think certainly has something to do with it.
Yeah.
That's been we've had some breakdowns in the secondary, in the tackling area. Brendan came in and I thought tackled well, coming out of the middle of the field and coming out of the quarter. So he did it in both instances. And I think Sean Wade as well is getting better each week. So took longer than we would have liked, but I think it's starting to click.
Well, what do you see from Malik Harrison just basically compared to like 5 or 6 weeks ago? Where have you seen him just truly improve? Maybe in football awareness? What's going on?
Well, I thought Malik did some really good things weeks ago. You go back to that Penn State game, he's shadowing the quarterback on third downs and made some big plays. I think sometimes what happens is when plays are made, they're attributed to certain individuals, and it's not always the case. But I'm not going to get in here and say, oh no, it wasn't him, it was him, or it was me. We're a unit, we work together. That's the way we roll. So I think sometimes it's mistaken.
Greg, there was more off the field stuff today that Urban had to take time to deal with. Does that stuff manifest itself in this building? If so, how?
Well, you can't let it. We have a responsibility to the university and to our players. So, no, we're in game plan mode Monday and Tuesday, and get everything ready for practice, and that's exactly what we did.
How do you keep it from being a distraction?
You don't have a
to your
choice.
Game prep.
Yeah, you can't. You don't have a choice, because one thing I learned a long time ago in coaching is Saturday's going to come. So whatever time kickoff, this week it's noon. Noon's coming. Whether you're ready or not, nobody cares. So you have to be ready. Otherwise, you let a lot of people down. So you just, and it's not just in things like that. It's everything. It has to be something really, extreme to break, and I know some people think that's crazy, but it has to be something extreme to break you out of your routine, because it takes every, the formula that we've set up, it takes all that time to get ready for a game. And if you cheat it in any one area, it's going to come back and bite you. So we can't.
You know what happened to you last year, though, with the Tennessee thing? One of these days we're going to get to talk to you about it. But, I mean, are you, as a coach, are you...
Slide that in there.
Yeah. Are you, I don't know, stunned is not the right word, but, I mean, when stuff like this kind of gets a life of its own, I mean, it's a different world now, isn't it?
Two things. One, it is a different world. And two, the way that we can stay focused is I don't get into that world. And I'm sure if I picked up the phone and started looking at it, I'd want to read and see what the heck's craziness is being. But we don't. Again, it's the best defense is just don't get involved. Stay out of it, because 12 o'clock's coming. And I have a responsibility, and our staff has a responsibility to get these kids ready. They put so much work into it. And we talk to them every week. Everything you do all off season long, you're only guaranteed 12 opportunities, and that's if you stay healthy. So that's a lot of work for 12 3.5-hour.
But there's a difference between somebody criticizing your play calling on defense and impugning your character as a coach or your character as a program.
There is, but at Saturday at noon, nobody cares about that. All they care about is, do we do our job and do we win the game? So you can get distracted, but then get ready. You're going to get it a week from now.
How does Urban stay focused? What do you see him?
Well, I think it's the same. He's a disciplined guy who knows what's at stake, and he knows that players, the university, state, everybody's counting on us. So you can't let that happen.
The fact Dante Booker's had more of a role the past couple of weeks.
He did, and I'm excited about that. I think he's feeling more and more healthy, coming off the injuries. And you got to remember now, 2 surgeries in the spring, both shoulders. So that obviously you have to heal from those, but you don't practice, you miss time and all that. So I think he's worked himself into a position where we really are going to need him down the stretch, and he's ready to do it down the stretch, which is good. So I think we'll continue to work him in the game in certain situations.
Greg, when you have a senior like that, you guys I think might be the only senior on your defense, right?
He is the sole senior, yes.
And he's had the injuries, he's had some tough breaks in his career. The fact that he's back to the point where he's going to be able to get on the field the last couple games. What's that like for him, you think?
First of all, I might tip my hat to him, because the way that he has worked through all this, it's incredible. You talk about a guy who's got resolve. And this guy has fought through so much adversity. And when you coach a guy like that, you just root for him. You want him to have success. Not that you don't want anyone, but extra because of all the stuff he's been through. So I'm hopeful that that he can and we can write the end of his career in a really good story. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Is this the healthiest the defense has been in like 4 or 6 weeks, do you think?
I think it is, yeah. I think right now we have, with the exception obviously of some guys that are lost for the season, I think we'll be at close to full force.
Does that allow you to do more or do what you originally wanted to do?
You know what? With everything they do, we can't do a ton. We're going to have to really be on point. And if you are, you have a chance to do well. And if you're not, it's just a matter of numbers and math. You get out leveraged and there's problems. So we can't let that happen.
Greg,
does it help you? Not helps, maybe not the right word, but knowing their number 1 quarterback is out and stuff, and you can zero in on the other guy, which they played a little bit this year. I'm talking about Maryland. How does that change preparation for you guys from the standpoint of knowing Hill's not available, Big Rom is the guy?
Well, they're a little different, and I think the fact that we're not really sure how much, we obviously break them down separately, and they do have a different personality when he's in the game. Now, what does that mean? When you're the starter, sometimes you take on more of the personality of the offense and do more of the stuff. When you're a guy that's plugged in different packages, then the packages are fitted to you. So we'll see. We have to be ready for anything anyway, because if they do it one play, you better be ready or it could be a touchdown. So I'm not going to lie, it's been a challenge and one that our players are really stepping up to. So we just got to make sure as coaches we we get them ready.
Greg, what
Thanks,
are the
guys.
things
Appreciate
that
it.
Matt Canada's brought to Maryland's offense that makes them a different challenge than maybe past years to prepare for?
All shifts and motions and unusual sets and unbalance and a lot of unusual different sets.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, guys.